Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Thursday, July 20th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, the stock market, metals, the dollar, any type of news that is going on or important. And of course, as you can see, you've got the XRP price chart pulled up in front of us today as we get ready for the stock market to open up in the next 1 minute. So, Markets in the Morning. Welcome, guys. We've got a pretty green day over here in the cryptocurrency market. We've got a pretty mixed day over there in the stock market after the stocks have just been breaking, the indexes have been breaking through those Fibonacci retracement levels. You've got the Dow Jones getting through the 702. You got the NASDAQ and the S&P both getting through the 786. Trying to see if we can get Bitcoin to wake up over here, trying to see if we can get XRP to get that next leg higher. We'll go through a lot of that stuff today in Markets in the Morning. I did also just release a video that is now live. Thank you all for tuning in. I see you all jumping in already. Boy, we got a big audience here just in the first minute. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's get through the housework here really quick before we get started. You can follow me over here on Twitter at BCBacker. This is the only social media that I do use. This is the only handle that I do use. Beware of imposters. Beware of people who are trying to convince you for lucrative investment opportunities and getting you to send your money to them, and they're pretending to be me. That is not me. I am not sitting there DMing people asking to send money. I'm not commenting on comments of anything saying send me your money or message me or anything like that. The only social media I actively use is Twitter at BCBacker. And then the bigger announcement that you guys have pretty much harassed me about in the chat for the last 6 months, pretty much, ever since we started Markets in the Morning. It's been at work for a long time. I've always felt weird about doing this, but you guys have requested it like crazy. There you go. The BC Backer merch is officially live. There's a link posted in the chat. There you go. There you go. You can go over here. Make sure if you're scrolling down, there is like a load more button down here. There's lots of XRP stuff in here. There's lots of just really everything. And then there's blockchain backer stuff all over the place too. So you could check this one out if you want. There's the link. There's also a link in the description of the live stream. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, workout shirts, tumblers, stuff for your dog or stuff for your baby, because I know we have babies that totally watch the channel, or at least dads that watch and have babies. Bags, all kinds of stuff. Ladies' leggings, stickers, all that stuff. Fun Wednesday stuff. That's available over there. So there you go. And of course, you guys can check out bcbacker.com. This, of course, with over 40 videos, 11 hours of content. Super, super informative. It's what I've also been working on all year. All right, let's get into it. XRP sitting at 81 cents. Now, we've been watching this for the last several days on how our correction has played out in here ever since we got the news from the SEC lawsuit that XRP is not a security. Those Bitcoin maximalists can spin it however they want. Here's how you know it's not a security, regardless of their arguments that they make. Coinbase relisted it. That's all you need to know. That's the answer. Whenever they have their little arguments, all you say, oh yeah, well, why did Coinbase relist it? How do you know better than them? That's it. That's all you got to do. But either way, price has been in the correction in here. We've been monitoring this. We've talked about it in Markets in the Morning. We've been talking about it in videos. Price up until yesterday, still working right along. I even had, let me see here. I'll put these things on here. Put some time measurements on here. There we go. Right at 6 days, 36 bars, 36 4-hour candles. Boom, it goes and hits above the 618 Fibonacci retracement level as we did in our last one. What do you see going on here? I see that we've kind of stalled out. So I do see that price is kind of stalled rather than continuing to maintain its strength. I also do see that over there in the indicators that we're starting to lose some of that strength that was going on in there, right? You could even see that here in the MACD, whereas we continued rampaging back up, we're starting to stall out in here. So a little bit of caution going on there on XRP if we're going to maintain that and continue whipping our way up. We're still above 81 cents right now, but we're in a third range boundary. We're in retracement levels, and we're starting to see a little bit of signs there in the indicators that things are cooling off. So a little bit of caution out there unless we could see something whip its way back up. I already released a video this morning discussing this to kind of give us some time to, if things start to really move a little bit later on in the day, I have enough time in my day to be able to put out a second video to kind of cover it if we do end up getting it. But we do see that we've started to cool off a little bit here in XRP, still above the 50% retracement, above 81 cents. But keep an eye on it. Those things are cooling off underneath the hood right now on the shorter term time frame. Doesn't mean anything changes on the bigger time frame, but I know we were all getting kind of excited seeing how even on time we were just rampaging. Every indicator was matched up. We do see a divergence starting to emerge on these smaller time frames, such as the 4-hour price chart, that the things are starting to cool off. So keep an eye on that. The good news is look to the right side of the screen. The whole market is green. I've talked about it a lot. It's the most unsexy thing to say is that, XRP being tied to the cryptocurrency market, being tied to Bitcoin, and that when we see big moves happen in there, looking for liquidity to really kind of come into the market, where is all the money going to come from? We've got to see money inflows happening into the cryptocurrency market. Fortunately, we are seeing green in the market, but I think, we need to see a little bit more show up in here. So at least we do have the optimistic signs in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ, the S&P. We're seeing some green happen over here in the rest of the cryptocurrency market. Thing we're still waiting on, of course, we're waiting to see, can Bitcoin get its way up? This morning, it has had a slight pop. It is back above $30,000 again, sitting at $30,258 as I'm speaking currently at this moment. One thing to keep in mind, though, I talked about this in a video that I put out today. As a lot of you guys know who are XRP holders and who watch the charts really closely, there is some odd behavior of where XRP really seems to be kind of correlated to the Stellar Lumens chart. It's kind of one of the weirdest parts of XRP is why is Stellar so tied to it? As we know, Stellar even shot up with XRP. You can look through the whole market. The whole market's average rise, the altcoin market during the announcement from summary judgment that XRP was not a security. The total altcoin market cap rose 10% that day. XRP rose 100% that day. You know who else rose 100%? Stellar Lumens right in here. And if you look at Stellar Lumens is still maintaining its strength. So it's not exhibiting that same kind of cooling out. Stellar Lumens kind of giving a clue that things are still holding up all right. But keep an eye on it. Things are paused out here. We're not keeping that strength. The indicators are starting to cool over. However, with Stellar, it seems to still be there. So hopefully that's more of a sign that things are okay. But you definitely, I'm now on a little bit more of a caution to say, hey, we were all good to here. Now suddenly we're kind of like, we've done kind of like this now. We're kind of coming down here. We're kind of hoping that we would keep that strength moving and keep moving up. But we're pausing out here at those retracement levels, and those indicators are flipping. So just a little bit of cautious. Hopefully something green, big, just shows up out of nowhere. But we do see the indicators starting to flip over. Now you look over at other aspects of the market, things that we've talked about with Wyckoff accumulation, we've seen them starting to show up. So Chainlink up almost 20% today. We've talked about Spring. I've talked about this on the channel many times. We've shown Atom. We've shown Cardano. We've showed XRP, Chainlink. Who else? Bitcoin Cash, right? All these different ones that have had these Wyckoff accumulations. Looks like who's next on the list doing it. Looks like we've got Chainlink working on it now too. So it's great to see this still emerging in the market. There's still capital flows. There's still bump outs happening here. Let's take a look over here. Very good. Stock market just opened. And we'll get back to Bitcoin in a minute. But prior to pre-market trading, the Dow was actually only up about 10 points. Looks like we're up about 150 points now that the market has actually opened. So a little bit better opening than I thought we were going to end up having. Looks like Netflix was really the biggest contributor this morning, down 7%. I think that's the headline over here. NASDAQ 100 futures fall as Netflix shares decline after earnings. So it must have been poor earnings over there for Netflix. But it looks like you got Caterpillar, Google, and GE kind of leading the way this morning over here, with Netflix and Tesla and Roblox being the ones dragging things down. But we do see that the Dow is up. And what does that mean today, everybody? Well, we tried to get above it yesterday, but we just barely weren't able to do it. And we did fail closing above the 786 yesterday for the Dow Jones, but now we are above it again. So Let's keep it today. How about that? If we can close above here, it means every single index. I actually haven't checked the Russell, but either way, who cares? The big ones, right? The Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the S&P all will have cleared all Fibonacci retracement levels, which, as we talk about all the time, positive sign for crypto. It's just money moving back into markets, which is great. And I haven't taken a look over there at reverse repo. Wonderful. The money's sitting over there in the reverse repo overnight lending market with the Fed. It still just continues to trickle down, now down to 1.7 trillion or 1 point, right? Trillion? Yes, trillion. What's going on with me? Yep, we're down to 1.7 trillion. Now the dollar is catching a little bit of a bounce today, but hopefully we can maintain this over here with the stock market. Dollar, after breaking through supports last week, now catching a little bit of a bounce here, not impacting the cryptocurrency market, which is pretty much all green, and obviously not impacting the Dow Jones in general. We do have that the S&P is down 3 points, which is 0.08%, and the NASDAQ is taking kind of a whooping there, down 0.5%, primarily led likely by Netflix and Tesla. So Netflix taking a big hit there, likely dragging down the NASDAQ this morning as we are opened. But dollar catching a slight bounce. Gold slightly down today, down $3 per ounce, which is only 0.17%. Copper is up 1.23%. And silver sitting right there, down a little bit too, down 10 cents per ounce, but it's coming off of a pretty decent little rise it's had, above $25 right now, down 0.4% today. So a mixed day over here in the stock market, but the significant thing occurring this morning is the Dow Jones, once again poking above that last retracement level, which we did yesterday. Let's see if we can get ourselves a close again today. So that let me get ourselves lined up here really, really good. And that way we know by the end of the day what number are we looking for this thing to close out at. And I know a lot of people are like, hey, man, I'm here for crypto content while we're looking at the stock market. This is part of the bigger picture. This is just the order of events and how they tend to play out, is that it typically has to be the stock market giving us a sign that heads to Bitcoin, that heads to the altcoin market, and then we're good to go. So currently right now, we're only sitting about 28 points above the 786 Fibonacci retracement. So it would be nice to see the Dow close at least up 150 points today. If we can close up 150 today, that'd be a good day. Right now, we're up 150 exactly. So if you close right here, all would be cool. But if we close up 100 or something, we're still not quite through there. So keep your eyes on the closing price of the Dow today and look to see if we're up at least 150. If so, that will have been a break of the very last fib level, as we've already seen over there in the S&P and we've seen over there in the NASDAQ. So, all right, markets are open. Let's take a look. XRP still chilling out right here. So there you go. Like we talked about, a little bit of weakness emerging. Let's see what Stellar Lumens is doing right now. Stellar Lumens is also having a little bit of a pullback as well. So I did put out a video this morning really diving into these indicators. If you've been paying attention to it, we are starting to see the divergence emerge from where we had been once strong, right? 6 days of grinding to the upside, 6 days of grinding to the upside, get to the 618. Boom, then we just kind of continue going. As you can see, we've really stalled out here and the indicators have started to flip over. So some caution here, at least on the short-term price action. For me, long-term, big picture of XRP, still fine. I know we were a lot hoping for it. We were watching it. It was all emerging. It was looking beautiful. All the indicators were great. Like I said, if we saw the indicators start to change, I'd let you know right away. Guess what? They're starting to change. So a little bit of caution in there, but we do see a ton of green in the cryptocurrency market. Be interesting to see if maybe it's just a little bit of rotation, or hopefully by the end of the day, we can see these things just start to turn themselves back around. There hasn't been any crazy fall that has happened in XRP, but definitely not having that same strength that we were showing. It has started to cool off. So we need to see some big turnaround happen here pretty soon if we want to keep that thing going. Today is Moon Day, by the way. It's International Moon Day. So it'd be highly appropriate to have it. Maybe we get a catalyst that sends some Bitcoin up. Hopefully so. You guys, I know we have a lot of people tuning in here to Markets in the Morning, so it's hard for me to know, like, all the people who have been around for a long time watching Markets in the Morning. It's we always have the same thing, right? We have the green boxes that sit up here, and you guys are like, every single day, here's our green box here, here's our green box here, and here's our green box here. And we watched ourselves do the ABC corrections through all these things, right? And we ended up shooting our way back up. So, we're all sitting here anticipating, can Bitcoin get its breakout? And whether or not that's hopium to want that. But when you're pulling off of an ABC correction, which we anticipated for the longest time, once you pull out of an ABC correction, the thing you're typically looking for is a continued move up higher. The thing that's been a little odd about Bitcoin is just that is today a month? Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's a month of sitting here. That's quite a long time. Each fractal that we've seen on these, they've pulled back down here. Continuing that strength didn't look like it was going to do it. The longer it sits here, it just makes you wonder whether or not. We don't typically sit here for this long. Even if we look for the past couple of months, there hasn't been any time periods where we've sat in a single spot for this long. You could even grab this one right here. We didn't sit there. We didn't sit here this long. So we've been here for quite some time. It feels like a move should be coming, but it just never really seems to amount to anything. So just waiting on Bitcoin coming off of an ABC. This is a bullish correction. Now waiting for a price to get. We know this is the biggest resistance level there is for Bitcoin currently right now. I mean, there's probably some serious ones above, but everybody knows what exists right here, right? This has been our resistance and support level for the last 2.5 years, and we're just trying to fight through it. So any type of big breakthrough here, it's almost like a break. It almost has like the feeling of like a breakout in a new all-time high to get through something like that. So we're still all just waiting on that to occur. If we get it, I know that it's difficult as like an altcoin holder, or especially as an XRP holder, to sit there and say, hey, I'm cheering for Bitcoin, because there's so much culture in the cryptocurrency world. There's so much tribalism, almost rivalry. The Bitcoin maximalists, point. XRP is still a security. It's still a security. Okay, that's great. So, you don't really want to cheer for the guys who are just blatantly lying, right? And they'll gloat if the price of Bitcoin does go up. But, the most unsexy thing is that, it's usually really positive for XRP to see something like that happen. So no matter how much it hurts your insides, if you're an altcoin holder, we are all, as a team, we are cheering for Bitcoin. It's just the historical behavior of the market. So hopefully we can get ourselves a move here after this ABC correction if we can finally work our way up. So as for the stock market, we've got a good opening today. Dow up 177 points, poking above the very last Fibonacci retracement level. That will now give us the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. Come on, Bitcoin, wake up. XRP stalled out after rampaging up as it had. Now the indicators are starting to flip. Caution happening here for XRP now. Stellar Lumens, however, got all the way up, which is what we really were kind of cheering for XRP. And we know that Stellar has really been one of those ones that has been following along with XRP. So just caution today. I already have released a video, and that gives me the ability to release a second video later today in case any kind of crazy action has happened. But I wanted to make sure I got this out early in the day to show that things have started to cool in here. We watched everything really play out, but boom, we are starting to cool. So just a little bit of caution. As for Chainlink, though, as for the altcoin market, look at it. It's a wonderful day in the crypto market. Everything is green, and you even have Chainlink appearing to go for the Wyckoff sign of strength breakout after spring. So good day in crypto. Still waiting for Bitcoin to show itself and to see if XRP can gear itself back up. Otherwise, hip, hip, hooray. Let's go Dow. Otherwise, with the news going on out there, it says that the NASDAQ is falling based on poor Netflix earnings. Netflix earnings showcase strength as the rest of the media industry struggles. Okay, that all makes sense. Netflix is falling due to earnings, but it's super strong. Okay, Jim Cramer's top 10 things to watch in the stock market Thursday. I'm not going to subject you to that. Analysts say Netflix investors should buy the pullback as password sharing supercharges growth. I really doubt that. The Netflix bubble popped. I don't know. Maybe maybe not, right? Microsoft went and set a new all-time high. Apple set a new all-time high. But I personally think they're just in distribution. Like when we like with what Bitcoin did and what Ethereum did back in 2021, I do believe that's what we're on right now with Apple and with Microsoft. Considered some puts on it. Problem with puts is you have to time the market so perfectly. So I just haven't done it yet. But it sure seems like those two are just in distribution, and this is likely the ending for those. Blackstone's $1 trillion triumph is muted by deal slowdown. Here are the biggest risks to markets, according to 3 Wall Street titans. It's just kind of clickbaities. U.S. jobless claims fall to a 2-month low. Oh, okay. I forgot we were having that. I know there wasn't much going on this week in regards to economic news because next week is our Fed rate hike. And it's priced in at 99.8% that we're going to see a 25 basis point rate hike. So, I always go with what the consensus is. That's what they say. They say we're doing 25 basis point rate hike on July 26th. That is next Wednesday. So I'm going to go with that and agree with it. I've never seen 99.8% before of consensus that they're going to do it. And the Fed does not typically go against what consensus is. So right now, that's what the market expectations are. And so be it. Jobless claims below forecast once again. I know there was a little bit of a scare in regards to jobless claims. Here we go. As we started approaching that 250, 260,000 up there, which, you can see there's C19, right? Started getting concerned as they were getting back to the upper limit bound. You can see this has been kind of a range. We got back to the upper limit. Now we can see we're pulling back from it. Yep. I always listen to TXMC. He always says employment is the last thing to go. Whenever economic conditions are worsening, it's always the employment that's the last thing to go before things start getting doomsy. So, until then, we wait. And we keep cheering for our wonderful cryptos. All right, now that the market is kind of setting in, Dow's up 178, S&P down 2.64, and the NASDAQ down 67. So the NASDAQ looks like it's pulling back a little bit after the initial downward price action. So is the S&P, and the Dow is continuing its upward trajectory at 186 points above the last fib level. So have we taken out yesterday's height? It looks like we just did. Cool. So we have now taken out the height from yesterday. That's probably a good sign. Definitely want to see it close today above 35. Let's just say 35,200 just to be safe. Close above 35,200 be an optimistic sign. As for XRP, like we've talked about, we're starting to see some weakness emerge in here. The indicators are rolling over, so keep a close eye on that. Otherwise, as for news for crypto, I haven't heard anything too crazy happening. You got presidential candidates and stuff. We're not going to go into that. We don't do politics too much on this channel. Kennedy says he's going to back with Bitcoin or something, which I don't even know if the president has the power to do that, but it sure is a good marketing message. All right. SEC's Gensler's grilled by lawmakers. Spot Bitcoin ETF could bring $30 billion in new demand. Yeah, so Gary Gensler testified in front of lawmakers, I guess, looking for a budget increase. I didn't really see any too crazy sound bites come out of that. Nothing too crazy, but he's still sticking to his guns that he's above the law. It doesn't matter what the rulings are. What a wild time. So, all right, that's where we're at. Still waiting for XRP to gain a little bit of strength. Stellar Lumens did gain more strength, so it's a little bit of optimism, but keeping an eye here as these indicators have rolled over in here. We've lost that upward trajectory. We've really paused out. So if you haven't checked my video out this morning that I've already released, give that a peek. Otherwise, the highly anticipated merch, as requested, has been released. There is a link in the description of this live stream. Otherwise, I'm going to dive on into the chat so we can get this day going. Chainlink is your big winner today, up 20%. I want to show that again, right? We've talked about these Wyckoff accumulations happening in here, and everybody's been scared they're not going to show up. We've now seen it in Bitcoin Cash. We've seen it in XRP. Here we go. We're working on it with Chainlink now. So I know it takes some patience in the market to see things start to rile back up, but we're starting to see them all rile back up, just kind of going one by one by one. All right. Hopping into the chat. Andy Philpott, 5 blockchain backer memberships. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. A guy with 3 first names. I'm early today. Smash that like button 3 times to help XRP get through these fibs. There you go. Hit it 3 times. 2 times is unacceptable. 1 time, but 3 is the magic one. Nobody X, thank you, a guy with 3 names. Nobody X says, hey, can you remind us where you get your data from full-time devs? Yep, from Electric Capital. Nobody X, thank you, member 1 month. Matt Earns, member 2 months, says blockchain backer backpack. I don't think there's a backpack in there. I think there's like a gym bag. I don't know if they had backpacks available to do that. I'll take a peek. If there's any suggestions or recommendations, please. I did have some of the 702 crew go through it yesterday with a fine-tooth comb and kind of see if there's anything that was missing, but I'm always listening for suggestions. And again, with merch, it's, you guys know it. You've been watching the channel. It's been a weird thing for me. I do not know why that is so weird for me that I just don't do it. I don't know what it is, but I've done it. You guys pushed me to do it. I got it out there for you. Thank you for pushing me over the edge to finally do it. If you like it, enjoy it. My favorite thing is the most memorable things. I've seen pictures of like stickers on trucks, and I've seen a couple before who had like both their cell phone cases, and I was like, that's crazy. It's weird. But thank you. Alberta's Cowboy says, I use a family member as a retail indicator. Very little to no knowledge of crypto. Big TikTok user. He mentioned to me that XRP won. Would you put any weight on this? Suck retail in, now cool off? Well, it's going to make headlines. No matter what, it's going to make headlines. Like something like that was such a devastating loss, and it's like the biggest crypto news there is. I don't know if you would just have to expect no matter what, even if price stayed flat, if price did go up, if anything happened, retail, everybody would have heard about that. It doesn't matter, right? So that one's kind of a difficult one. Now, if he had an opinion and like the financial media was feeding him something, then that would be kind of a different story. Like I also have those people in my life too, that I know they don't do any research. I know they don't even hang out on TikTok. I know the only thing they do is watch television news. And so whenever they come to me and they tell me opinions about where the economy is heading, or if it has to do with inflation, or if I'm getting text messages from them about crypto, and I know the only information they get is from television media, that gives me a real clue of where is the herd being guided, right? The low information herd being guided. And I know to get away from there. So I don't know if that one in particular. Everybody should have known XRP one. Anybody in crypto knows that. Anticrapic, me and my 2-year-old and newborn in 2 months are going to be dripping in BCB merch. Yeah, there's a baby outfit in there. Sweet, thank you. Joker's performance. On weekly time frame, my stock RSI indicator has just broke above the 70 level for the first time ever. Based on Bitcoin price action and in past, before we rip, we have to backtest that level before we go rip into the upside. I've had a hard time like finding consistencies on actual backtest levels. If it's happened one time before, Jokers, I don't know. I have a much harder time like doing specific technical analysis on like using fibs or levels that have to be tested. It's just real clear, like in a bear market on those relative, we're talking about relative RSIs. Yeah. That, 60, especially on that weekly time frame, that's going to be your super mega resistance in a bear market, right? And then your support level is going to be that 40, which is why over the course of the last year, as we've been sitting at the bottom and everybody's screaming for 10K, we've been pointing to Bitcoin, we've been pointing to the altcoin market, pointing to XRP, everything on these huge, large time frames to say, look, even on here, we're holding all of the bullish support levels, right? For the relative strength index, what do you got to hold? You got to hold 40, right? So we've been able to hold 40 on the relative strength. I think those are the more significant, but like figuring out particular levels. Let me see. Are you using Bitcoin or are you using XRP? Bitcoin. You're doing Bitcoin. So you must be using a different indicator. Oh, you're using stock RSI. Oh, stock? Stochastic RSI? No, man, I don't think so. The stochastic RSI is just a change in behavior. I wouldn't. Maybe. I don't know, man. Are you on Twitter, dude? Post it and tag me in it, and I'll take a peek at it. I think if stochastic RSI is just more of a momentum indicator, not so much a technical like measuring things. Because stochastic RSI isn't even like where can we get crazy? Like the MACD, we can get crazy, right? 11,193, negative 6,429. But stochastic RSI is always going to bottom at 0 and max out at 100, right? They don't go higher. So it's just really like, how is the momentum changing? It's just strong, 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 or weak, weak, weak. So I don't know. Tag me in it and I'll take a peek. But thank you, sir. That was generous. Thank you. There we go. Pat, thank you so much. Alberta's Cowboy, are you shipping merch to Canada? It didn't work for me. Yeah, so this all goes through YouTube, right? This goes through Spring or Teespring, so it's out of my control. So it's not like I'm sitting here having an iron out and ironing on BCB things. This is all linked and sourced and run via YouTube through Teespring. So there's likely going to be some shipping restraints, which sinks because only 40% of the people who watch my show, 45% of the people who watch my show live in the United States. So you have to check and see if it is available for shipping to your region. But it is out of my control. I'm sorry. But I don't know, man. You would think Canada would be in there. I mean, we're just like next door neighbors. But thank you. Nicholas Loon says, please hit that like button and appraise the algorithm gods. BCB, have you heard or seen Kevin Cage's video where he explains how each of Bitcoin's low and high swings are 5.3x in the previous move? I haven't, but I have already known that. Right. So I think what were we at? We were at, it was like a 208x or something like that back in the day. Then it was like 110x. And then this last one was like 20x. So if you did that, you would be at like 4 to 5x currently right now, 4 to 5x off of the $15,000 low or $16,000 low, whatever it was, 15 and a half, right? That ends up dropping you somewhere between 80 and 90 if you were going to hit a new all-time high. Yeah, it's just showing and also if you take a look at it from the opposite direction too, that the corrections have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. So, we were at like 86% in 2014, then at 84% in 2018, and now like at 77 or 78% in 2022. So the corrections have not gone as deep as well. And let that be a lesson to the people in 2022. This has not been as bad as 2018, you guys. Negative 96% on XRP would have put you down to 6 cents. 6. Justin Wiles, new member. Welcome. Thank you. Cougar Love says, can you talk about the golden cross? Some say it's coming for Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP. I think it's 3 or 4 day. I find that golden crosses and death crosses are actually not very useful. Typically, whenever you are, like, if you're going to really focus on those, like finding times where they actually have significant importance, like to actually realize the death cross on the altcoin market, the weekly death cross where the 50 crosses through the 100, has actually marked the bottom of the market. We talked about this through all of 2022. Here's, oh no, it's Doomtown. No, actually, Doomtown's over. Now we're reversing. The same thing was true here in 2022. Oh no, it's Doomtown. Actually, no, the bottom was already in. Even right here. Come on, did these cross? Yeah, look. Doomtown, 50 crossing through the 200, right? We're so ruined. No, we're moving back up. And so, you're going to have to find assets where that has actually had a significant time. I don't have the time, unfortunately, in this live stream to sit here and go through the 3-day or the 4-day and every one of those assets and like cross-check each one throughout all of time to say, oh, look, on the 3-day time frame, when the 50-day crosses through the 200-day, this is what this means. We just don't have time for that right now. But that's what I always say to do. If you're watching somebody and they're saying, hey, look, we're doing the golden cross or we're doing the death cross, and this means we're super bullish, go back throughout history and say, okay, where were we the last time we did that on this chart? And were the conditions similar to they are right now? Because the death cross was actually the bullish signal for the week on the weekly time frame on the crypto market. So just kind of keeping that in mind. Look, here's the 50 crossing through the 200 right here back in 2020. Here's the 50 crossing through the 200. Where were we? Where were we when we did that last time, right? Let's go. It was time to go, right? So could be a good time in the market if we look at it from that angle. Thank you, Cougar Love. Chris M says, hey, when you started out on YouTube, did you ever think your catchphrase would be magical unicorn fairy dust? Happy Moon Day, BCB, you're the best. No, I didn't. I didn't know when you start on YouTube, you don't know how much of your own personality you're really going to let out. And what you're going to do when you do YouTube. I think we all just kind of start, and it kind of morphs into what you're comfortable with and what you like doing over enough time. Yeah. No, I just got to show you a little bit of the crazy. I think the only reason I even do that and try to sound so silly about it is due to a lack of an ability to be able to explain it. To not, and I always say, is it puppet masters pulling the puppet strings? Let's get back here. Okay. In order for that to happen, right on time, right? What you have to explain it away. How could that magically happen right on time and summary judgment shows up right on time? How could it happen? It either has to be the puppet masters are pulling the puppet strings, right? There's some coordinated effort that went on between the government, between the markets, everybody, and they timed it perfect, right? That sounds possible, right? Or it has to be God. God just made it happen. Or it's that we live in a simulation and there's like this ebb and flow of the universe and everything moves all in an equal flow, and we haven't really figured out how to explain it, but everything just moves in a nice flow. And so it was just time, because in our simulation, that's how it's all pre-programmed to be. Or it's magical unicorn fairy dust, which just merely means I have no freaking clue. I have no idea what could cause that to happen. And, obviously that whole catchphrase was, that whole saying, magical unicorn fairy dust, puppet masters pulling the puppet strings, God or simulation, was formulated way before this, because I've talked about how things just show up at just the right time. And it's so bizarre. And I'm so thrilled and excited that I've got to give you a really clear example of it happening in real life when it happened, and how bizarre it really is. And that you just start questioning everything. You start questioning, I always talk about, I'm not political. I'm not on either side. So if we ever bring up politics on this channel, it is never for me to sway you one way or another, because I just don't care what you do. Do whatever you want to do. I look at it from this view of, there's something going on, right? Why are they convincing me to believe this thing because something else is going on. And I know we all are like that, right? With the tinfoil hat, but then there's like kind of the crazy people too. But to also know that we are just kind of manipulated as a society a little bit, not a little bit. But yeah, I'm not political, and that all stemmed from actually charts. I used to be so into it, get all riled up on the internet, get on Facebook and be like, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. And, it wasn't until I really got into charts and started realizing all these politicians were doing things at specific times on charts. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all scripted, everything. And so my lack of being involved in any political party or anything like that also stems from this at the same time. So, yeah, there you go. That's enough of political rant. And magical unicorn fairy dust. All right. Oh, boy. Okay, where am I? I've fallen behind. All right, Ali Mackey. Institutional sales of XRP is a security, and institutions move the market. Do you see this affecting the XRP price or adoption in a way? We appreciate all you do. Well, institutional sales of XRP is a security. No. Ripple's sales of XRP to institutions is considered a security. Right? Now, we speculate it's institutions moving the market, but that's all just speculation, right? We can look at all the indicators. We can look at all the behavior. We can look at the ebbs of the flows in the market. They all time up right on time. So, when we kind of say it's institutions that do it, and I'm going to fundamentally analyze it as institutions, then you throw all of this out the window, right? I mean, you just forget all about this. I can't focus on any of that. And to remember, it's Ripple's sales to institutions, right? And if institutions are buying XRP from Ripple, they're not impacting the open market. The only thing they're doing is getting supply added to the circulating supply without adding any actual buy pressure to XRP in itself. So, no, I don't think it'll impact anything. Tarek Barek, man, thank you very much. Hello, BCB. Thanks for all what you do. Can you take a look at the XRP chart? It's showing strong resistance and support level on the daily chart. We are on the daily. Strong resistance and support level on the daily chart. I mean, if we're looking to the left, we're gonna be looking to the left the whole way up, right? We're gonna have resistance over here the whole way up, and even when we get through here, we're still not safe because we're gonna have retracement levels that all sit way up in here. So there's always gonna be the resistance to the left, right? As for to the left here on the daily time frame, I'm not sure what you're seeing on the daily. In particular, outside of looking over here to see all of these. I mean, we probably throw in a volume profile, but yeah, there's certainly going to be a ridiculous amount of resistance over here. However, even in that circumstance over here, when it became time, we just cut through all of them like butter, right? So it'd be about the flow into the market. Hopefully that's what we have happening in here. Else this could be a long ride. Now, as for resistance happening, if we get off of the daily time frame and we just look at our actual range in here, we know that we're back at retracement levels, right? And we know that the indicators are flipping over now, right? Like Binance got all the way up to the 702, almost. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Let's do this. Go to Binance. And that's still pulling a little deeper, right? Like you could say, I could pull back down, but not quite below 0.5, but we're getting kind of below 0.5, so still caution there. But Tarek, thank you very much. It was very kind. As for particular daily, if you want to tag me on Twitter and show me what you're looking at, you can tag me there. But I appreciate it. It's very generous of you. Thank you. Blockchain McMuffin, which is formerly Oscar Hernandez. Oscar, your brand is so strong. I don't know why we'd go to Blockchain McMuffin. Hey, what's going on? Please hit the like button. Thank you, Oscar. Thomas, or Blockchain McMuffin, I'm sorry. Thomas Campbell says, is XRP's current short-term price due to Bitcoin sleeping? What did Bitcoin do during XRP's last short day 6 pause? If you watch today's video, I actually go through that. I don't know if I have everything to flip on. Do I have it already in here? I do have it in here. So last time, Bitcoin's fighting against the all-time high. Let's get back there. Here we go. As XRP goes into the initial breakout, which is this one. So you have to imagine where we are. We're like this guy right here, right? So Bitcoin has pushed up against its peak. It is then pulled all the way back. XRP breaks out. And then as Bitcoin starts going back up into recovery to really try to break through the height, that's where XRP also goes at the same time. So there you go. Give you kind of a clue. It really started when there was like an actual break up happening in Bitcoin, and then we went with it. And then this is also the push to really get through the all-time high for Bitcoin after 3 years of a bear, right? So my theory and hypothesis has been that we are not going to new all-time highs for Bitcoin. See, I've always said my optimistic view is a retrace. Got to remember, there's going to be a ton of dinguses when we get back into retraces. See, you don't know anything. These are the same people who wanted $100,000 at the top and wanted $10,000 to $12,000 at the bottom. Well, I spent a whole year saying we're going to retrace. We're going to retrace. We've been working on retraces. Let's get back up there. If it breaks through them, so be it. But let's get there first. And so my thoughts have been going to retrace. And now, what does this really tell you? Like, if you really think about this for just a second, I know we got a lot of new viewers, so it's hard for me to, I feel like I've been talking to the same group of people for the last year, and I know a lot of people are tuning back in. Should the Bitcoin dominance start to fall drastically before we get to an all-time high, it is signaling to us that we are only doing a retracement for Bitcoin, right? This move that we're having happen here for XRP to go through this whole thing, right? We got to remember to go through this entire thing happening in here. Let me get Bitcoin off the screen. We go through the whole consolidation. We do the whole Wyckoff accumulation, and then we break out. Shouldn't Bitcoin already be back at its all-time high, right? If it was going to go into an all-time high, shouldn't we already be there? And we're not, right? Somebody said XRP is crashing. That's a dude who came back in at the last minute, who has been gone for a year and just came back. Fugal, you're crazy. What is your name? Futgif? Dingus. All right. So, shouldn't Bitcoin already be at an all-time high if we're in here, right? That's why it's not, right? And if this move happens here, right, like this, and if Bitcoin's only shooting up to here, like imagine what does it mean if Bitcoin gets up to say $33,000, $34,000, and if XRP does a move like that? What does it say? Right? To me, it says clear as day, Bitcoin's not going into a new all-time high. That there's a rotational shift happening out of the market. Liquidity may be coming into the market, but it's not going to Bitcoin, which it should be. And that would really validate my idea I've had for the last 2.5 years of just a retracement. So I think that should kind of open the first alert sign here happening right now is the fact that we are doing something like this after, of course, a lot of people say, well, summary judgment. Your magical unicorn fairy dust, your puppet masters pulling your puppet strings, God simulation. We had Wyckoff accumulation. I even posted a long thread about it on Twitter on July 8th saying we're getting ready for something big to come. July 8th, 5 days later, we end up getting summary judgment. It showed up right on time. The fact that we're doing this without Bitcoin at an all-time high, all I'm saying is keep your mind open to the idea that it doesn't go to all-time high, but that's okay. Like somebody has said it earlier with Kevin Cage, and right, I've talked about it too. What are you chasing? 5x off the bottom of Bitcoin? You're looking to go from 15,000 to 80,000? What, you're wanting to 1.5x from here? Have at it, buddy. Have fun. Dr. Ty says, morning video, market in the morning, merch released. Is this a simulation? Hit those likes. Yes, the like button. Thank you, guys. Evan Bunker says, did you see Jim Cramer's tweet? Be careful. We are finally overbought. I know you don't like head and shoulders, but looks like inverse head and shoulders is just playing out on the Dow Jones. Thoughts? Right. So like it's understanding this, right? I think it's, if we go into all-time high, this is really just kind of what we do. We've been talking about this for the last 8 months. ABC, right? If you get ABC right in here, let's do this. Let's have Ethereum. I don't know if Ethereum did it as clear as Bitcoin did. Yeah, kind of. Ethereum's is a little higher, right? Right, what are we talking about? We're talking about if the Dow goes into all-time highs, retail investors will likely get euphoric, crazy, all wild and everything. But if the 4.236 extension is not too far away, and in a distribution structure, you can go like this to just go on and hit that 4.236, which let's go ahead and align that on here so we all see it. Right? Go on to hit the 4.236 and then turn your way over. Right? So we see that, right? And we know that's exactly what Ethereum did. And so having one of these ABCs emerge right here is common to do that. Retail will go euphoric. Retail will scream that nobody knows what they're talking about. We're going to the moon. It's never going to come to an end. But that this is just distribution. This would be the final phase of distribution. Also, we could look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin does the same, right? Bitcoin has the ABC, right? And then goes on to set the new high. But this is nothing more than distribution, and then over and away it goes, and that's the end of it, right? This is the most bullish case I can make for the stock market, that we are in distribution on the Dow Jones, and that this is the end of it, and that we're all getting like one last opportunity, like lucky us getting one last opportunity before things get pretty crummy out there in the stock market. But not that we're turning into another 4-year run or 3-year run or anything like that, but that we're doing distribution. And that's really what we're working on here. So, your question is, does this look like an inverse head and shoulders? Or, right, I know what you're talking about, right? Right. Maybe, but I would actually think, a measured move on an inverse head and shoulders would be length of the head and the neckline, right? Something like that, which doesn't quite get you to the all-time high. My bet is if we were going to get up here, we're probably going to get the all-time high. It's called an up thrust, probably get it. And then that's where we roll over and it comes to an end. I think the key thing what we'll be watching for is just from a narrative too, right? Your fundamental narrative is the what we talked about the other day, what we've talked about on this channel for a year and a half. We brought it up yesterday. If Congress bans themselves, and I think like shortly after we did the live stream yesterday, Congress introduced a bipartisan bill to ban themselves from owning stocks. That's going to be the big sign, right? Likely. So. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm convinced of this just like being an inverse head and shoulders, but I'm more convinced this was actually just like an ABC correction happening in here. And likely, like, this is, if we can keep closing, if we can close above the 786 retracement level, I'd be looking more of this being like wave 1, wave 2, and then we're in 1, 2, 3, 4, wave 5, 6, or wave 4, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. Get it together. Right. I think wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, something along those lines to finish her off. But that we would actually be within wave 3 currently right now of Elliott wave. Which, if you need to learn about Elliott waves, of course, I teach that over here on bcbacker.com. So that's what my thoughts would be. Not so much about head and shoulders on this little thing right here. Head and shoulders usually more on like reversals, right? So this is more of like uptrend, ABC, and then keep continuing. Typically, when you're looking for head and shoulders to the downward side, unless if you're pointing to like this one right here, right? Which, I mean, I guess, but I don't know. What's the measured move on that? Let's get us off log. We're off log. Boy, it gets you pretty high. Gets you above the 4.236 extension. How much higher? A lot. Like 2,000 points above it. And I don't know. If we get higher, right? And if we get into all-time highs, it's that 4.236 extension I'll watch. We did see the S&P cross it slightly. Like S&P did go a little bit above it. So there is that. But, you know, I think we're in the general vicinity of it. Looks like stocks not holding up too well, down back at 147. And the NASDAQ just totally pooped on itself. So it sounds like I got an email. Crypto stays green regardless of the stock market volatility, which is good. Okay, let's keep going. Dustin Hook says, rotate into T-bills after a crypto bull run. Insight? That's a personal choice that you can make. Typically, when people decide to exit the market, they will sit in cash, right? So if you're going to sit in cash and not put your money anywhere else, and you just want to be a holder of dollar and treat cash as king, typically people will put that into either a high interest savings account, which savings accounts are currently paying an interest over 4% if you look for them. I know everybody likes to focus, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Chase are not. Look everywhere else, they are. And then, you know, if treasury bills are still paying 5.25% or 5.5% or so, and the time, pretty alluring. But that's a personal choice. Thank you. That was first timer. And Evan Bunker, first timer. And about Jim Cramer. Yeah, I mean, he says, be careful. We are finally overbought. You know, he has a historically terrible track record, but it doesn't mean a blind squirrel can't eventually find a nut. So, you know, we'll see. BSB says, what are your key price points on Q&T? First timer. I don't own any, and I don't really pay attention to that chart. Sorry. DC. I know that one is up so high. Like if you were looking at charts.cointrader.pro and you look at how much it rose in 2020 and 2021, it's still up like tens of thousands %. So I have a hard time seeing it going way higher, but maybe it will. I know there's a lot of people who follow it, and don't anybody take that as me being like, you're poo-pooing on my project. You know, I understand the fundamentals are strong. There's a strong community in it. I wish you all the best. I only have enough attention to focus on 400 things. It's the 401th that just doesn't quite make it. You know, it's like, but I wish you guys the best. I don't pay too much close attention to it. DC, hey BCB, what is your return on investment rate in crypto all time? I don't really know. You know, I had a lot of stuff that just didn't do anything in 2021, but I had stuff that did do really well. My second largest investment was Cardano. I was very lucky on that one, I guess, because it went crazy during like the worst time ever when the SEC sued XRP. It was almost like I couldn't enjoy it. I was watching that thing rip to the upside, and I almost couldn't enjoy it because of everything that was going on with XRP. As for actual percentages, I don't know. You know, I got into Bitcoin initially in May and June of 2017. So at that time, it was $1,800. And then I bought it all back in, unfortunately, I got a lot of it in that $6,000 price zone that we sat in 2018. And then it broke down and went down to 3,000, but I didn't sell any of it. And then I just doubled and tripled down when we were down there in the 4,000s and the 3,000s. And then, as you guys know, I sold 65% of it up there at $45,000 to $58,000. And then Ethereum, got out of Ethereum at the top. But if I had to tell you what the exact percentages are on everything, I don't know. More than anything I've ever made in anything else before, though. By a long shot. One rough weekend, a bobblehead with you saying dingus. I would buy that and bring it to work. I don't think that's an option. I didn't make any dingus merch. I should have, though. I'll work on that. Morning BCB, so maybe a 54 to 58 cent back test. Well, it's always been a maybe, but it just depends on what's going to happen right here. If we're going to continue to lose this strength or continue to work its way back up. You know, we saw, it was interesting because we're looking at this chart here, but we saw on Binance, it did actually get to the 702 retracement. The thing is, we know we're consolidating way above the breakout level. The breakout level was there at about 55, 58 cents, right? We were following along very strong, but a lot of that strength has started to wear off, whereas we didn't do that last time we were consolidating. We continued going up. We continue rampaging. So we all have to be alert to it, right? You see it. What will happen? Will this thing just go right back to the upside? Maybe. But when you look at this and you say, are we still behaving the same? In these last 4, 5 candles, we have started behaving differently. You could choose what you want to do with that information that you see there, but I'm presenting it to you to show you. Whereas we had continued strength happening in here, we are not now. So we'll see how it goes. Which is why I've already released a video. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this throughout the whole day. And if we do get a move to actually emerge in the market, which we see, we're a green market today. But if we get something to emerge in here, I've got enough time in my day and energy in my day to be able to put out a second video. Abdullah, hey BCB, which altcoins also show Wyckoff? Hey, if you want to check my Twitter, I've got it on there. And if you watch this morning's video, I show it on there too. So watch this morning's video. I'll show you some of them, and then you can go onto my Twitter page and you'll find all of them. It's my tweet thread that I put on there on July 8th, 5 days before the SEC decision. Jokers, he said it tagged you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the super chat, and then thanks for tagging me. I'll look into it. XXQXX, end of 2023 prediction. Man, I've been doing this long enough to know not to be a sucker enough to say what's the end of year prediction price it's going to be at when the year ends. Everything could happen in 2 months, and then we spend the rest of the year crumbling. So I don't know what the end of year numbers will be. I appreciate the super chat, but you're asking a question that you're going to get a lot of people to answer, but go check the track history of saying what will price be at the end of the actual year. A dang near impossible question to answer. Tarek, thank you again, man. You said I meant XRP market cap. Okay, let me go back and look at your question. BCB, thanks for all what you do. Can you take a look at the XRP chart? It shows strong resistance support level on the daily chart. Then you said on the market cap chart. That's going to be pretty similar on the market cap. Let's go here. You know, I don't think it's really any, you're talking about resistance. I don't think it's any different than what we've already seen. You know, it's going to be, this whole thing is resistance all the way up in here, as was this. And so you could see the first peak right here. That's where a lot of the resistance comes in here. Then it back tests support, right? So we find it at our first peak, right? Back testing. Hopefully that's the extent of our back testing. But as for any particular resistances in here, let's throw on some fibs. Nothing in particular there. I wouldn't say that it's something super significant. We'll find out, but I wouldn't say like in the long-term trend, it's something super significant that I'm worried about. Michael J. Love gifted a BCB membership. Thank you, Michael J. Love. Dingus, new member, says, if you appreciate oxygen, hit that like button. Moon Doggle Gaming. The final 4.236 extension theory falls in line with Bob Lucas's and Jason Penz's cycle TA. By the way, you get your monk robe ready. Their TA times markets well. Okay. Still have not found a single person consistent with it. What's the date, Moon Doggle? Give me the date. And here's what you could do. Post 5. I want 5 clear examples of where they nailed the date. They didn't hedge their words, dude. I'm in TA. I know all the tricks in the book for hedging. When you speak, I know all of them. I see it everywhere. People sit there and they hedge up, down, left, right, A, B, start. And then when select happens, they say, see, I told you. I know the tricks. So give me 5 clear examples where they were precise. And we'll see about that. RuPaul's wig. Thank you very much. Slick Rice, member of 29 months, man. Thank you, BCB, for continuing to be a force of good in this space. Smash the likes and have a great day, everyone. Thank you very much, Slick Rice. Digital Dunce, Bitcoin is a store of value, but Bitcoin is more of a store of value. If retail knowledge grows like a chart, when do they flip Bitcoin for XRP and Bitcoin Dom is no longer relevant? Is that a when moon question? That was fancy. Was that fancy? Bitcoin is a store of value, but XRP is more of a store of value. If retail knowledge grows like a chart, when do they flip Bitcoin for XRP and Bitcoin dominance is no longer relevant? I think that was a fancy when moon. It was just formed in the when will the dominance flip, because the dominance flips when XRP takes off. So that was actually a when XRP moon question. I'm pretty sure. When long-winded moon. I don't know when, Dingus. Colorful crypto, sorry. Open merch after moon. I'm brokey, need more ZERPs. No, merch is open today, guys. Per your request, I thank you all so much for pushing me over the edge to do it. There's a link in the description of this live stream, and there's the link posted there in the chat. There will be a load more button down in here, so when you get here, you're probably just going to see like You're just going to see this stuff at the top and it may get cut off right here. Just kind of keep going down and then it'll load more. And then there'll be a load more button and you can go down here and see all this stuff in here that got put up there yesterday. Otherwise, I think we're all caught up. Alex, A. So it looks like XRP. So are we starting to pull back? Yeah. So I would say we're starting to lose some of that strength there for XRP. As discussed in this morning's video, look at that. We're kind of flipping a little red over here in the market. How's the stock market holding up? Let's get off all this. Stock market's still okay. How's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's fallen. There you go. All right, Bitcoin. Keep yourself together. When $10 XRP. Bro, you have a $20 super chat for $10. When? There you go. All right, so there we go. We saw the early signs there in XRP of weakness starting to emerge. Let's see how Stellar Lumens is doing. Yeah, Stellar's pulling back too. There you go. All right. We'll see if we can maintain ourselves and turn this puppy around throughout the day. I did already put a video out this morning kind of diving more deep into XRP's weakness and the indicators already starting to emerge here. So we'll keep a close eye on it. And hopefully this thing turns itself around before the end of the day. Felix Barlow, can you talk about past predictions you got right or wrong? Well, I've been here since 2019 and predicted the whole bull run. When Bitcoin was $5,000, predicted $70,000 Bitcoin. And when we got there, everybody bought it. After C19, everybody said, you are the most irresponsible moon boy in the world. Who in their right mind would buy Bitcoin at $60,000? And I said, by the time it happens, the media will be convincing them to do it. And they did. They did. They put laser eyes on their profiles and diamond hands, man. And Ethereum. XRP over Bitcoin. Let's take a look at it. So I'll be straight with you. I'm ready to dump some of my Bitcoin, but I'm only going to do it if this chart gets back to the 200-day moving average. Right? No, 200 week. 200 week. I got some Bitcoin ready to go that I'm ready to say goodbye to. But I'm only going to say goodbye to it here. Considering we've been underneath this for 4 years, I'm willing to take a shot at it. But only if we get down here. So it's all ready to go. Conrad, this is the end of XRP. I've missed these days, dude. I miss these Bitcoin maxis coming in here crying like little whiny babies. I miss it, dude. We used to have so much of it back in the day. It's for the last 2.5 years, they haven't done any of it. They completely stopped. And then now, once XRP is not a security and on all the exchanges and outperforming Bitcoin for 2023, they are whining like little babies. Bring it. All right. So that's what we're waiting on, guys. We're getting some pulling back action happening in the market this morning. It looks like Bitcoin now, it caught itself a little bit now at 29.9. Dow Jones still doing okay, holding above the 786 Fibonacci retracement. We're just waiting for Bitcoin to wake up. The stock market is giving it all the signals, but we're not getting that signal yet over there in Bitcoin just yet. Sister Miranda says this is a minor setback for a major comeback. Let's go. Crypto Pigeon. Yo, BCB have been analyzing the charts and doing some complex calculations and then found that statistically 6 out of 7 dwarfs aren't happy. That's unfortunate. Thank you, Crypto Pigeon. Bonzo says, hey, BC, using the 2017 fractal, we were studying the same thing. Just that the price was very bullish and overshot, but now we are on track ABC now. Unless if you're saying we're doing a C leg currently right now. Like I said, the only thing that's been odd about what happened with the price is, we shot high. And back in the day, we found support. We were backtesting a support, right? This is supportive backtesting, right? Not the case here, right? Way, way, way higher. And that's the complication currently of what's happening in this exact moment right now. But we'll see. But I would have to say, just from an indicator perspective, following all along until midnight, until it turned to the new day, we were doing well. And then it was right when we turned into today, while starting to see indicator behavior turnover, which is why I started recording the video at 5 o'clock in the morning this morning, got it out before markets in the morning went live. But I would have to say, just from an indicator perspective, there you go. There's the deviation. The changes have now come into play. Now the work's really cut out for us on no longer having just such a simple blueprint, but it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge here. TDP says, can you check on the XRP dominance chart? It looks like it broke out of range. I don't see anything. I guess you could say here, like the dominance did backtest this. There you go. But then you'd have that resistance sitting right there. I don't know. I haven't lived and breathed in this one too much. I'll take a peek at it and see if I can play with it. And really, it reminds me a lot of just looking at like at XRP Bitcoin, right? Let's see what is the 200 week, the same story here. Will it even give me a 200 week? Yeah, so it looks like the exact same as XRP over Bitcoin. So I would say it's a breakout, right? The question is it backtest? 4 years underneath of it, will it backtest? We have so many Bitcoin maxis. Yeah, there we go. Bitcoin shuffling its way down. Come on, Bitcoin, get your life together. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones ripping. So we'll see if we can actually end up following along with the Dow a little bit better here in a minute. But we'll keep an eye on it throughout the day. If you guys haven't checked it already, I put out a video this morning. And where are we at? We're already at an hour and 17. This is now the longest markets in the morning that I have done in my last 10. I've done a good job keeping every single one of them under an hour and 15. So, all right, that's where we're at right now. New member, Ripped Eye, thank you very much. XRP starting to fade the strength that it once had, as we talked about this morning in the video and at the very beginning of this live stream. We've seen Chainlink working on sign of strength breakout. Most of the market's still in the green, but definitely pulling back as Bitcoin is starting to get a little bit of weakness in there. Hopefully Bitcoin can find a little bit of support. The DXY looks like it's shooting back up to the breakdown level. So maybe that has a lot to do with what's going on here right now. Keep an eye over there on the DXY today. See if we can actually end up holding right in here, and if this ends up marking a throwback happening for the DXY. So there you go. DXY 100.8. We'll see if this ends up just being a throwback. I think that's probably a pretty big clue. That's probably a pretty big clue of that happening here in the last hour probably. There you go. There you go. The source of our problems. The DXY is shooting back to the breakdown level. So here we go. It's currently back testing. Keep an eye on the DXY. Should it get a rejection there? Hopefully things can turn themselves back, but that seems to be why we're seeing some quick action over there in Bitcoin currently right now. But all right, guys, that's it. If you haven't checked out the video today, go ahead and check out the video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. We'll keep an eye on the XRP. If anything crazy happens, I'll get a second video out later today. If you guys are looking for anything to do, of course, you could check out bcbacker.com. Over 40 videos, over 11 hours of content, all freshly recorded here in the last several months. Available now on bcbacker.com. I want to thank you all so much for watching today. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.